Thank you guys for coming. It is your first time in Poland. Nyck is
Go ahead.
older.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
You deserve the priority.
Yes, first time for me Poland. Just arrived this morning, and then straight into here. So I never actually didn't explore much yet, but so far it's nice weather. It's been a nice day.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I received a very warm welcoming. I got here yesterday, and you guys have been looking after us very well. So I'm enjoying my stay, and I'm actually staying an extra day in Warsaw tomorrow to see a little bit of your culture.
Yuki, it's your birthday today, and I saw you got the Robert Lewandowski football jersey. Do you know who Robert Lewandowski is?
Of course. um,
Or is it just a random football to...
yeah, I love Lewandowski. Even I follow in the Instagram. His mentality is good. He's funny guy. And yeah, I support a lot of football. So especially when I play a game, I always use him. He's always good. So yeah, it's my birthday turns to 23. It's amazing that I'm able to spend in Poland in my birthday, and it's not a bad thing. Why are you laughing? It's not.
It's a good place to spend birthday, by the way.
I mean, it's first time, so it's new experience, and definitely it will be unforgettable memories. So, and yeah, I hope I can have a good food tonight.
Okay. Guys, I wanted to start our conversation from the pretty obvious question. So how your adventure with sports started? So what makes you F1 driver? So how did it started, Yuki?
How I makes the Formula driver?
Yeah.
How? I don't know. Like maybe like kind of these things. Lots of events. Yeah, lots of tensions when I walk around in the street. Lots of people ask me the photos, which is good. And yeah, I think the Formula drivers normally for me itself, like in general, I always think how to go fast. So that's kind of even like every single things for cooking or whatever, like try to be a second faster than before or something like that. So kind of those quite strict at time for me. Yeah.
Nyck, you were 10 when you started like racing. Am I right?
Yeah, I think the question was how it kind of started.
Yeah.
So actually, I was a little bit younger. My family was very much into racing. My father used to sell cars. He used to race at amateur level and had a small racing team. So when I was born, I think he always had the kind of passion to motivate me into this world. And at the age of 5, I got a go-kart for my birthday, and that's how it kind of started. So actually I didn't have much other choice when I was a kid. Never really played with a tennis racket or a football. So yeah, that's how I got into it, and I've been very well supported by my family, especially in the earlier years. And yeah, then kids start racing, they dream about Formula One, and my journey has been especially quite long and different. But yeah, here I am today.
So what is like to be a driver? What is it to be one of the, I don't know, 20, maybe 30, the best drivers in the world? What's the feeling? How do you feel like being the part of some special team?
It's quite, well, it's very unique. And if you realize that there are only 20 people in the world, it's a real privilege. But to talk you through my feeling, as a kid, I've been dreaming about this my whole life. And this has always been my goal. And I think every young driver shares that dream and goal, but as soon as you know you're going to accomplish that, the dream is gone, and you kind of think about next goals and next dreams. So actually in life, well, I experience, I'm talking like I'm old, but like when you get to the point you've always dreamed about, actually, it's just the beginning, and it just starts, and that dream is immediately replaced by new aspirations and ambitions. So in all honesty, I don't feel any different than I felt in the past 15 years. The work I'm doing is very similar to I've been doing in the past years in other racing series. The only difference is that Formula One is the pinnacle of our sport, and it has a lot of attention globally. It has grown a lot in the past years, especially through Netflix. So just the following is big. And I would say that that's the biggest difference.
Yuki, do you have some rituals or habits when you're preparing for the race? Is it something you like do repeatedly?
Yes, so we do normally like a warm-up, obviously the physical warm-up, and normally I always feel quite sleepy before the session, especially race day. Like I don't know why I feel so always sleepy, so I have to always wake up myself, obviously, because you wanna be sharp as possible in the start. So it's not any advertisement, but I'm drinking Red Bull. To wake myself, get a lot of caffeine there. It's really nice. Also coffee. Also recently I'm listening to one particular song. Like I always feel quite good with this song, which is Eminem, "Lose Yourself." It's like it says in the songs, it says that one opportunity, you know, you wanna smash that opportunity. And like Nyck said, it's Formula One is everything. You know, there's no much seats, and you know you don't want to lose the opportunity. You want to maximize the opportunity. So kind of feels me quite strong before the session starts. So those kind of things is my kind of routine before into the session.
Nyck, do you have your routine?
Yeah, I mean, I think most drivers have a driver warm up with their trainer prior to jumping in the car. So I do that as well. And during the warm up, we play a bit of music, and you kind of try to get yourself in the zone. But throughout the day, our days are very much occupied with, you know, commitments, not only media marketing, but obviously also the work with the team. So the slot you have available to actually get yourself ready is very short.
How do you deal with stress? Because I can imagine that like last seconds before the start of the race, so extreme concentration from one point, but stress from the other. What's your way to deal with this stress, which is, I can imagine, extreme?
Zero stress.
Zero stress.
Yeah, it's like
Easy.
once you wear helmet, it's just like you'll be in a like different world. It's just automatically switch into the like kind of zone. So like there's not much room to actually think about it. Well, there is a room obviously, but I don't think anything. Just naturally try to feel something from the car, from the radio, anything that just enjoy myself to the race and yeah, in the moment. So I'm not thinking anything. So yeah, for me, not much stress. Actually, once you're in the car, obviously, outside of car you feel more stress. Obviously, depend on situation, but in general you have a pressure anyway in Formula One, and how to handle the pressure is quite key to being Formula One drivers. So for me, you know, I've been 3 years, and I start to know how to deal with the pressures, and so yeah, now I'm quite okay, and I'm feeling relaxed all race week, so that's good.
Nyck, maybe you are stressed or you are just relaxed as Yuki.
No, I think it's very right. Like stress and pressure is relative. I think everyone is experiencing stress and pressure in his or her daily life and work, and so do we. We always need to deliver. But once you actually jump into the car and you have your helmet on, it's a kind of safe space. You're alone. You're kind of distracted away from everything. And it's a kind of good feeling. You're there alone, and you don't really think, and you just do what you know by intuition and experience. But of course, there is a lot of outside, you know, pressure, and you'd always try to, you know, kind of ignore and switch yourself off from all the noises that are going on, in the paddock and in the outside world, which is not always a given, and sometimes you're better at it than other times.
Being a part of the Formula One drivers, meaning, as you said, it's a big privilege. That's how you called it. But as everyone knows, you have to sacrifice a lot. So, was it like a painful road to the Formula One? Do you have to sacrifice a lot? Or?
I personally didn't experience it as a sacrifice, because I love what I do, and I don't see it as a job. I kind of, this is my life, and this is what I've been doing my whole life, and this is always what I wanted to do. So I feel very grateful to be sitting here today and to do what we do. But of course, every day is not, fun. You always have, better and good days, and not everything of the job is fun. But as a whole, I love what I do, and I think the key is to probably not experience your work as work or as a sacrifice, because then you might, not be in the right place.
Yeah, I think the same. For now, I don't feel like sacrificing or something. Just enjoying driving. I was feeling sacrificed more towards when I was younger, like 5 to 8 years old. Especially, I was really active kid, even now. But I was a kid, like I wanted to do a lot of sports, like football, swimming. I was doing also like a downhill, biking. So like those things, just I was interested a lot kind of sports, and especially with my friends. Every race, every week I was spending with a kart track, and practicing there, which is my friends in the school. Normally they're hanging out in the outside and playing around, which I sometimes got jealous. Um, but now it pays off, and now I'm in Formula One driver, and which is good. And yeah, I feel happy. Yeah, and obviously now I'm super enjoying every single moment. So it's good.
What was the biggest challenges you have on your road to Formula One, and how did you overcome this challenge?
I think I think the journey to Formula One includes a lot of challenges. In sports, you lose more than you win, so naturally you need a lot of resilience to always, fight back. And racing is a complicated sport. You need a lot of support to race and to continue your career forward successfully. So, there are a lot of factors that come into play. And there were many times I thought that, I would never be able to fulfill my dream. And I had a kind of career outside Formula One. But I think if you, keep believing and never really giving up on your dream, then one way or another, I believe that hard work will always be rewarded. And yeah, I personally live by that. But challenges, there are every day, and many.
Yuki, the biggest challenge for you on your road?
Biggest challenge for me was language. I was in Japan. I'm in Japan, and I moved to Europe like 18 years old. And normally Japanese drivers struggle in language, especially English. So I was actually lucky. I was learning English school. I was in international school when I was younger, around preschool or something like that. And so I had kind of idea what is English is, and I can speak at least a little bit more than other drivers. So which was definitely a good advantage. And also moving to Europe from a small island is quite challenging. First time I'm living in by myself, it was, and also on top of that, I was in Switzerland. So everyone speaks French. I don't know what they're speaking, but just I only can speak English. So it's just everything was difficult. So it was more challenging around outside of the racing rather than inside. Obviously, once you get into racing, obviously you just have to deliver the results. So it's kind of clear target, but outside of racing, you want to prepare as much as possible. You want to be comfortable as much as possible to perform well. But it's really challenging that I have to adapt to the kind of culture, everything. So yeah, it was a bit interesting time.
Was it the moment in your life when you really was deciding, if I have to move to Europe, do I really want to be a driver, or you just take it as it was?
Well, I think it was quite clear to be Formula One driver. You want to race in Europe rather than in Japan. Yeah. So now you have a kind of rules that you have to be in top 3 at least in the Formula 2 or Formula 3 to be Formula One driver. So obviously, it's naturally you have to move to Europe. So obviously, I was already kind of aiming to go to Europe as soon as possible from karting, but I was actually never went to Europe. Actually, I went once, but didn't go other than that race. And yeah, just that's it. Yeah.
Is there any key person who supported you on your road to the Formula One, like the biggest supporter or someone who you think make the biggest influence for your career?
Well, first of all, my family, because without my family, I wouldn't, be able to start racing, and my dad definitely played a big role in that. My parents were divorced, and basically we were living for racing with my father, sister, and myself, and we were traveling around Europe from a very young age, and kind of, putting all your eggs in one basket. There was only one plan, and there was no backup plan, and we had to make this work one way or another. And I think that approach just brings a different kind of commitment from the family and me personally. But along the way, there have been many people that have been crucial and influential at many key moments throughout my career that were defining, because you're always almost fighting for survival throughout your whole career, because when you're not performing, you risk to lose support and not be able to continue your career forward. So and there are many people that are aiming for the same goal and target as you. There are only 20 places in the world. I mean, you have to remember that during a World Cup final, there are more players involved than there are spots available on the Formula One grid. And if you realize that, you realize how niche it is and how difficult. So along the way, I've been fortunate enough to come across many important people that contributed a little bit at every step.
Yuki, a key person for you?
Yeah, I think it's family first of all. It's especially my dad, and also obviously my sister and my mother. Especially sister. Most of the time she came with me with the track, and I think she sacrificed a lot for me. So I really appreciate my sister, young sister, and obviously my dad. He was teaching from 4 years old to the most of the time. So sometimes he was really strict. Well, actually most of the time. So I was hating him. When he especially angry at me, mad at me. But now I'm okay with him. And but still sometimes when I have a bad race, he still message me, "What was that?" Saying, well, you should break later or whatever. I just ignore him. But yeah, now I mean he's the guy who makes me Formula One driver, so I really appreciate. And I would say from formulas, when I step up to single seater from karting, I got supported by Honda. Honda is really good supporter, and without them, I'm not being Formula One driver right now. They supported me obviously as a money. It's really expensive to race in the Formula. So to move to Europe to race there, everything they supported me, and able to perform well. And now I'm using their engine and fight with them. So it's really feeling great. And obviously it's a shame that they retired 2 years ago or last year. But still, there's Honda. We're using Honda engine, and Honda engine is currently performing the best. So yeah, it's good.
I'm wondering what are the relations between two of you, because you are part of one team, but you also compete in the race. So do you consider yourself as a teammates or other competitors, or how do you feel it?
I think we're good.
Don't look at each other.
No, just obviously in the track is just one of the driver that you want to beat most because he's teammate. But outside of racing, it's just really normal friends like you have in school. So we just chat normal, and actually we are already friends from years before we started racing together this year. So I know he's a funny guy, and we hang out a couple of times.
Not as funny as Yuki.
He's a crazy guy as well. So I learned everything. Sometimes bad things, sometimes good things from him. But he's a funny guy. I like him.
Yeah, when Yuki was in Formula 2, I was actually one of his biggest silent supporters. He wasn't quite aware, but
I was aware.
Okay, you're aware. Okay.
No, I saw in social media.
Yeah, I was always commenting.
Nyck was commenting. Nyck was really famous I mean, I don't know, was is the right way to say, but he's really not, he was really famous karting driver. So when I was driving in karting in Japan, I saw always in the book, news magazine that Nyck de Vries won the championship or whatever. So I knew about him actually from like 8 years old. So, and I knew he's fast, and actually, but we never able to race each other. But when I was actually driving Formula 2 racing there, when I sometimes go pole position, he actually takes it in the comments in the social media, Formula 2 social media, and like, wow, he's messaging to me, and at other points, I felt a little bit support from him, and from then I was feeling like, yeah, like I want to be friends with him.
We will be discussing a lot about sports marketing this afternoon, so I would like to ask you about what's your approach to building your own brand as an athlete, as a sportsman. Nyck, I know that you are working on your own brand, like Team Nyck. So what's the idea?
I'm really not involved in that, but like actually not. But I think the key to that is just to be yourself. You know, wherever you are. And whenever you're public, but even privately, I think it's important to be you, because that's when you are the strongest, and that's when you're actually authentic. And if you're trying to be and build this persona which you think you want to be, I think on the long term, you will always kind of fail, because people will always find out who you really are. So just be yourself, and then I think in sports it's all about performance. When you do well in sports, naturally, people will follow you and support you. So I also believe in good values and being a good, genuine person, and I'm quite sociable and interested in different topics, but be yourself.
Yuki?
Same.
What would you guys have done if you wouldn't be in Formula One?
I'll be the football player.
Football player with Lewandowski.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be striker because I'm too small. I think I'll be midfielder to support the striker. So maybe I can. I was maybe in the same team as Lewandowski, that maybe I was assisting him. But or I was being chef. I really like cooking, like food itself in general. And I mean, now it's too late to become chef, maybe. But yeah, for me, it's one day my dream is to open the restaurant after I get world champion in the Formula One. So
Okay.
not before. And so yeah, I really passionate to the food. So maybe if I was not in Formula driver, I would be in chef, and maybe I get already 2 Michelin stars. Maybe not 3, but 2 Michelin stars.
Oh, is he really good at cooking?
He especially likes eating. I was interested in architecture, but honestly, from a young age, I've been so much focused on this that I never really had the chance to consider different career paths. So I don't really know, but I'm sure that I'll have a second career after racing. But for now, I want to, succeed in what I do and race for as long as possible.
You said whenever you reach the goal, you set the new goal for you. So what's your goal? What's your dream? What do you aim for?
I think once you get to F1, you really live in the moment, and you really got to be focused on the present and just do the best you can every day, and be the best of you, and hopefully perform. And then things also need to kind of come together. I mean, there was an era of Lewis dominating with Mercedes, and now clearly Red Bull is the strongest team and car to beat. So you gotta do your job and hopefully get yourself in a position to have a package that is allowing you to fight for podiums and championships.
Yuki, your goal, your dream?
I think I just did now. The world champion and open the restaurant. Other than that, so far, nothing.
Okay. We have 15 seconds, so last very short question. The best Formula One driver in history is?
Nyck de Vries.
Robert would have been. I would have liked to see what Robert would have been able to do without the accident. I was following him since a kid, but I think. I mean, every era, every generation has its best. I mean, you have Ayrton, Lewis, and Prost, and now you have and Max. So I think it's unfair to say someone is best of all time. Every generation has a best, but currently Max is dominating our sport.
Nyck?
Well, obviously, I'm dreaming one day I'll be the best driver in history, obviously, but I would say now. Maybe for me, Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna is, for me, is the best driver in history, and he was my hero. So, yeah, I think Ayrton Senna.
Thank you guys very much for coming to Poland for the lovely conversation. Yuki, Tsunoda, Nyck de Vries, thank you very much.